All right, good to have you back, guitar players. What we're going to do today is take a close look at a classic standard called Crazy by Willie Nelson. Now, this tune is not normally perceived as a jazz tune. Who cares? It's a fabulous tune, and there's tons to be learned here. The progression is on the diatonic side, meaning that it's according to the scale. But there are so many lovely connecting chords in terms of diminished and augmenteds and so on, and it's a great opportunity to learn how those chords work. So where we're going to start is an analysis of the form of the tune and a general overall analysis of the tune. Okay, so as we can see, first of all, very first of all, is it's a vocal tune. It wasn't written to be played on an alto saxophone or another melodic type instrument. Although it could be, of course, but it was originally written as a vocal tune, and that gives it some characteristics that we're going to explore as we move forward. All right, so let's take a look at the key signature. As you can see, it's in the key of C, and then we're in 4/4 time. Okay, it starts on a C chord, so we're not in the relative minor or any related mode or anything. This is just straight up C major key. Odd that it starts with a D sharp, you might say, because in the key of C there are no sharps or flats, so there's no D sharp there in this key. But this is used repeatedly in this tune, and it's just a lower neighboring tone leading up to a chord tone. That would sound like, here to give you a context of key. There's our key of C, and so it starts. So it's just that D sharp, right? That's sliding up, and it does the same in the intro. Though we'll approach those in greater detail later in the melodic section. All right. And so we're in the key of C, and let's take a look at the form of the tune. The form of the tune, we've got a 4-measure intro here, and that 4-measure intro is never repeated again. It's just an intro, and it's played through once, and then we go to the body of the tune. Then we've got measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 measures, and then rather than do a repeat in a second ending and so on, it's just written through, and so we do the same thing again. As you can see, the chord progression repeats itself too, right? So we have C, B flat, A7, C, B flat, A7, D minor. So it's all the same thing. Second 8 here, so 8, 8, 8 measures. First section, 8 measures. Second section. And then we have a little turnaround. And a turnaround, whether it be in straight ahead jazz tunes or blues tunes, that's a turnaround. And in more of a jazz vein, turnarounds are chordal. In this case, back to the key of C. Sorry, I was just in the key of E there, but. So this turnaround does so you can hear it moving up, and then eventually it goes to the key of F, or the chord of F, the 4 chord. Okay, and so that's a little turnaround kind of thing, and you can see that you can usually recognize turnarounds by by the fact that they're going to be at the end of an 8-measure section and then there's not going to be a heck of a lot happening in the melody, which is a classic example right here. Nothing going on in the melody, just a sustained C note for one measure. And so it just sort of turns around, and as you can see, it stops on that C7, and that C7 indicates that we're moving somewhere. The C7 is the 5 chord in the key of F. So this C7 is a secondary dominant leading to the key of F. And so now we're at the middle 8, and we've got F chord and then a passing diminished leading back to the C chord. This is a classic little country kind of thing, which I'd love to be able to say I can explain it, but I guess you could explain it musically, but essentially it's just a chromatic passage. Right, it's just a chromatic passage that moves back and up in triplets. That it's a that kind of thing, right? So we don't have to explain the inner workings of the harmony there. It's just a fun little thing. But so the 4 chord, yes, the passing diminished, the augmented 4 diminished chord, really an important chord, which we'll look at in greater detail. And then back to the 1 chord, that funny little chromatic passage. And then a secondary dominant, the D7 being the secondary dominant to G7, and then the G7 augmented, right, G7. Right, you can hear that augmented moving up to the tonic chord. And then we're on the last 8. As you can see, the chords are the same again, right? C with that B flat A and D minor, and the secondary dominant leading to the D minor. And then finally we've got this groovy little tag here at the end. This F to E minor, D minor, C sharp diminished. This hasn't happened before. This is a special little tag. It's like it's more than a turnaround because it's 4 whole measures, so it's really a part of the body of the tune. You can't just call it a turnaround because it's intrinsic to the melody of the tune. If I play the chords. And then melody. Right, so lovely melody, but you can see that and hear that melody is following those chords. So that's sort of a little turnaround, but it's written into the body of the 8, the second 8. So we have classic song form here. 8 measures plus 8 measures, middle 8, another 8 measures, end 8, another 8 measures, except 4 of them are this lovely little diatonic turnaround, if you will, but not really being a turnaround. Can't call it a turnaround. I'll just call it a section, a subsection of the last A section. Okay. So A8 plus B8 plus A8, or else you could do, well, you know what it means. I mean, these numbers of these letters and numbers are there to help you retain the form of the tune, right? And when I play this tune, I sort of think of these 4 measures as being somewhat separate because they're a little. They sort of identify are characteristic to this tune. And then, of course, we return back to the beginning. Here's the repeat sign. There's our first ending. and back to the beginning all the way through again. There's no indications of anything that I should be doing here until we get to the first ending that we've already been to. And this time we have a second ending, right? We skip the first ending, go to the second ending, and then this weird thing happens here, right? You take a look at these chords and you think, what the heck is going on? We're in five flats all of a sudden. Don't be scared. What's happening is it's just modulated up a semitone. So rather than now we have and so on, right? I won't play the whole thing. So instead we're in B flat, D flat in five flats, same lines basically. So it's a little outro. And it's not necessarily an outro that you have to play. It's the kind of thing that you could learn and say, well, I think this might actually be very similar to the original recording. I seem to recall especially that intro from the original Patsy Cline recording. Okay, so that's all good. That's sort of an overview of Crazy. Now, why do I do this? Because this is the way you should learn a tune as well. You should get used to going through the tune and being able to identify what's there. When you identify, for instance, the key, that's important, and don't only identify where your scale forms are everywhere on the fretboard, right? When here we're in the key of C, but go further than that. Play. Just start to sketch in the chords, right? And so on. You get the idea. It's a nice slow shuffly ballad, and that's the way to introduce yourself to a tune before you start digging into the melodic aspects of it and the deeper harmonic aspects. Remember that what we're trying to do here is not just learn a bunch of tunes and put our fingers where whoever says to put your fingers somewhere. That's not really what we want to do. What you want to be able to do is analyze the tune, find out the music, draw out the music that's in there, and start to work on an arrangement that will be your own arrangement. So once again, that was Crazy, and we're in the key of C. And we'll dig in deeper than that a little bit later. I hope this was a help to you, and if it was, subscribe or like. That's all good. If you've got any questions, if there's just lay them on us, and we'll make sure to answer them. So yeah, thanks and have fun.